Welcome to the Unfolding Journey, where we explore the depth of human experience through the lens of philosophy, psychology, and personal growth. If you're someone seeking clarity in chaos or meaning in the mess of life, you're in the right place. Let's unfold this journey together. From the moment we're born, suffering becomes an inescapable part of the human condition. Loss, illness, failure, heartbreak, these aren't anomalies, they are inevitabilities. No one escapes them, not the wealthy, not the powerful, not the wise. But the ancient Stoics didn't see suffering as something to be feared or avoided at all costs. Instead, they saw it as a teacher, a forge through which character is shaped. Stoicism, more than any other philosophy, meets suffering head-on with a calm, grounded strength. It doesn't deny suffering. It doesn't sugarcoat it. It transforms it. So how does Stoicism interpret suffering? And what practical tools does it offer us to endure hardship? Not with bitterness, but with resilience. Let's begin by understanding the Stoic worldview. The Stoics believed that suffering is not a punishment inflicted by the gods or the universe. Rather, it is a natural part of life, woven into the very fabric of existence. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote in his Meditations, "Just as a ripe olive falls, so too a person's life comes to its end, and nothing is evil in what is natural." In other words, suffering is not something that shouldn't happen. It's something that does happen to everyone. What causes much of our suffering is the belief that it's somehow unjust or unique to us. This is a major Stoic insight. Pain is inevitable. Resistance to pain is optional. When we personalize suffering, we amplify it. But when we understand it as a universal experience, we can begin to respond rather than react. One of the cornerstone teachings of Stoicism is the Dichotomy of Control. This idea, made famous by Epictetus, divides life into two categories. Things that are within our control, our thoughts, actions, choices. Things that are outside our control, external events, other people, the past, our genetics, even our emotions. According to Epictetus, we suffer not from the events in our lives, but from our judgments about them. What does this mean in practice? It means that even when life throws pain at us, an illness, a breakup, a failure, we still retain power. We may not control the storm, but we do control how we navigate it. We can choose courage over despair. We can choose to grow through grief. We can choose to act with virtue, even when life feels unfair. This mindset doesn't eliminate suffering, but it gives us a way to carry it with dignity. Another unique Stoic practice in facing suffering is the idea of voluntary discomfort. Seneca, one of the great Stoic thinkers, advised people to regularly expose themselves to small, controlled forms of hardship. Fasting, cold baths, sleeping on the floor, wearing simple clothes. Why? Because practicing discomfort trains the mind to be less reactive, less fearful, and more resilient when real suffering hits. Seneca wrote, "Set aside a certain number of days, during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, 'Is this the condition that I feared?'" By rehearsing difficulty, Stoics inoculate themselves against it. In today's world, this might look like embracing digital detoxes, choosing to walk instead of drive, or pushing through discomfort during workouts or cold showers. These small acts build the mental muscle to say, "I can handle this," even when life gets hard. To the Stoics, suffering wasn't just something to survive, it was an opportunity for transformation. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This famous quote is the heart of Stoic resilience. It's the idea that obstacles don't block our path, they are the path. Every hardship, every failure, every loss contains the seed of growth, if we choose to see it that way. This isn't toxic positivity. Stoicism doesn't say, "Pretend you're fine." Instead, it says, "Feel the pain, but don't become it. Use it. Learn from it. Let it forge your character." Modern psychology now echoes this idea through the concept of post-traumatic growth. The ability to emerge from suffering not weaker, but wiser and more compassionate. The Stoics were talking about this over 2,000 years ago. One of the most profound Stoic responses to suffering is Amor Fati, a Latin phrase meaning love of fate. To love fate is not just to accept what happens, but to embrace it as necessary, even beautiful, no matter how painful it may be. Nietzsche later picked up on this concept and described it like this: "My formula for greatness in a human being is Amor Fati, that one wants nothing to be different, not forward, not backward, not in all eternity." In other words, true resilience isn't just tolerating what happens to us. It's finding a way to love it, not because it's pleasant, but because it is ours, because it's real, because it shapes us. When we stop wishing the past were different, we free ourselves to move forward. For the Stoics, the goal of life isn't pleasure, comfort, or success. It's virtue, living with courage, justice, wisdom, and self-control. Suffering becomes the test of those virtues. Anyone can be kind when life is easy. Anyone can be calm when things go their way. But who are you when everything falls apart? That's where Stoicism shines. It gives you a framework to suffer well, to turn pain into purpose, to meet difficulty with integrity. Epictetus was born a slave and lived with physical disability. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire plagued by war and disease. Seneca was exiled and eventually ordered to die by suicide. And yet, all of them wrote words of peace, clarity, and strength. Their lives weren't easy, but they were virtuous. The truth is, suffering will visit us all. It may not be fair. It may not be explainable, but it will come. Stoicism doesn't promise to eliminate it. It offers something deeper, a way to endure with dignity, a mindset that turns pain into possibility, a life lived not in avoidance of suffering, but in mastery of it. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." That power is yours. You may not control the waves, but you can learn to sail. If this message resonated with you, and you're seeking more wisdom to navigate life's storms, make sure to subscribe to The Unfolding Journey. Here, we don't just talk about philosophy, we live it. Together. Bellhop bell, hit the bell so you never miss a step on this unfolding journey. Thanks for watching. And remember, the obstacle is not the end. It's the beginning.